Hey, I'm n8n. In this video, I'll walk you step by step on how to generate synthetic question and answer dataset using n8n. This is useful when you want to fine-tune a large language model on a specific domain expertise. If you want to learn more how you can fine-tune your LLM on a custom dataset, go ahead and watch my video, the link in the description below. So before we get started, let me show you the demo that we are going to build. So we are going to pass it this PDF, which is the complete guide to the future of AI, which is generated by Claude, just AI generated content. And we want to create a data set that can be used later on to train or fine-tuning them. Because you cannot just give it this data set, it needs a specific format. And one of the formats that you can use is like this, question and answer. Let me give you, yeah, just like this. This one is more formatted. Question and then answer. Question and then answer. And this trains the model to your specific domain. Okay? So let me just execute this and show it you in action. So I'm just gonna add PDF. Then we're just gonna submit it. And then it will pass it through a bunch of nodes that one is going to process it, split it into chunks, then give it to the AI, output parser into a JSON format, then we convert it to a file where you can go ahead and download the model. Alright, and after a while, as you can see, it generates the entire dataset, and here we have the file where we have a question and an answer. So let's get started. Let's create a workflow, let's name it. Alright, so the first steps we are going to do is an n8n form where we can upload a document. Just search for n8n and we have an n8n form, and we need this trigger because when somebody uploads the PDF. And here you can customize it. The title, I'm going to add data generation and description upload document. And here we are going to add the form element. I'm going to add file, and then the element type, make sure you select file because that's the file we want, and make sure you disable this. You can add multiple files, but in this video we're just going to work with one file. And you can add PDF because that's the extension we want to work with, and make sure it's required field. Let me just execute it. There we go. Got this binary file. The next things we want to do is that this is a binary. All right. What we need to do is we need to extract and read it. So that's the next node. Add a new node and search for extract from file. As you can see, convert binary data to JSON, and then choose from PDF. All right. If I execute this, well, we need this binary data. So I'm just going to call it file, execute it, and there you go. The reason why the input field is because, well, it is the name of the field that we have set on the form submission. Here we go, it's file. If you change this, make sure you change this on this node as well. If we look into it, you will see we have this text. That's the content of the PDF. Here we go, the complete guide to the future of AI, table of content, etc. It's perfect. What we need to do next is we want to kind of edit this field, all right? Because we want to split it into chunks. That's what we're going to be doing. So just search for edit field. This will edit any field that you have, and we are not interested in all these columns, just interested in text. Drag and drop it, and make sure you change the type into array because we want it to be an array. So if I go to the JSON, you will see that this is the entire content of PDF. It's very long. What we want to do is we want to split it into chunks. To do that, go to JSON the text that's already added here and click dot, and then you will see all the functions that you can add, can apply. Click on split, and here you can choose the splitter or the separator. What you want to split, as you can see, if I just leave it empty, it will split it by some characters. All right. You can also split it by comma. All right, dots. Okay. We are going to split it on break lines. Which means whenever there are two break lines, make sure you split it. So if you execute this, we should see the data has been split into chunks. You can go ahead and choose any separator you want, depending on your data, or depending on PDF, but this is just more dynamic and it covers every use cases almost. This is just one item, right? Even though you will see we have a lot of items here, but it only wrapped in a single item. We don't want that. We want it to be separate items. Okay, so instead of one, we want it to be 8 because we have 7 start from 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, not just wrapped in an entire items. To do that, add a new node and search for split. And this will turn a list inside items, like in our case, into a separate items. Okay, so for the field, we're gonna write drag and drop the text. If I execute it, you should see this is the first item. All right, and we have 8 items, so it will do this for all the 8 items in a loop. Okay, as you can see, we have now 8 items that will be parsed and split out to the next nodes. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to clean this. This is very clean in my case, but this is explicitly have done with Claude, so that's why it's clean. But some certain PDF might not be the same case. Some of them, if we split them by break lines, you may have just one character, so entire text in a single character, and we don't want that. That's not useful. We only want a great content, which means 1 to 2 words, there is some spaces, etc. No just one single number, one single character, because that could happen on a different use cases. And that's what we want to do. We want to add a code. This code block in JavaScript is going to clean all the inputs here. In our case, it is fine. Nothing is going to be thrown out. But in your case, you might have unstructured PDF that has a lot of empty pages or just a single page that has one number. There are a lot of noise information that we want to remove from our dataset. And that's what we're going to be doing. So I already created a script. We just paste it here. And don't worry about it. Just copy and paste. I will leave the link in the description so you can just copy and paste it. And you can use it whatever you want. What this does is it loops through each one, okay, and it give it to this has a space, and we give it the text. So this text, for example, is going to be through this function, and to make sure that it passes the test. If it passes the test, we can just add it in a new result and keep doing this, and we only left with a cleaned result. So what this does is we have this regex format. This tells each one, like this is a regex format that tells if there is an empty space, if there is a space. For example, let's say the text is like this, 3. We don't want that. It's just 1, or let's say and. We don't want that. But if we said and EI, for example, yes, that's kind of makes sense. So as you can see, what's the difference between this and this one? It's space. Okay, this one has no space, and this one has a space. So this words or text that have space makes sense in compared to this one. So this format, it just checks whether it has space or not. If it has space, add it to a new list. Okay, I keep doing this for all the text that passes test. Okay, let me execute this. There we go. We're left with the same items, so it's okay. All right, now everything is clean. We want to pass it through the EI. But as you can see, we have here 8 items. We're not going to pass through the entire items. What's the point? We have split it, so we need each item to be passed to the AI. That's why we're going to create a loop over items, and this will split the items into batches. We're going to add one batch, which means one batch at a time. It will create this replace me, which means this is where you are going to add your loop flow, and when it's done, it will go in this branch. And let's add our own loop, right? So before we give it to the AI, we want to add a pause. Okay, what this pause does, you can choose the amount. I'm just gonna choose 2 seconds. This is helpful if you are interacting with external tools, because most of the external tools has a policy that you cannot make more than, I'd say, 2 or 5 requests a second. Okay, that's gonna break their term of services or term of use. So you're gonna use AI agent, then you're gonna define the prompt, then you're gonna choose the prompt. Let me just execute before so that we can execute the steps. I'm gonna wait 2 seconds to give it to the output. Then let's configure the AI. So this is going to be text. Just drag and drop it. Let me add, just to make the prompt perfect, let me add contextual text. So we tell the AI, hey, this is the contextual, and then sorry if it's like this, and then we're gonna add an option which is system image, system messages, which is basically we instructs the model our specific use case. In our case, it is to generate a synthetic question and answer dataset. So I already created this prompt. What this does, it just explicitly instructs the model to be an expert on data-created assistant, machine learning engineer, and creating high-quality instruction training dataset. Your task is to transform the provided text chunk into diverse question and answer, key and A pairs. Alright, and we just make sure we add this line. You can go ahead and add your own prompt. Again, I'll leave the workflow and everything I've used in the description below. So I just tell it that your answer or your output has to be in a JSON format, okay, where it has a question, then the answer. Okay, this will help us in generating just like the dataset that I have shown you before. Now, make sure you enable require specific output format, and you will see this output format branch appears. So we just add it, fix it out. This will output the output of AI. Okay, AI sometimes could generate data or something that is not in a correct format, and this just validate that. So make sure you choose the schema type. Make sure it is defined in JSON example. Now this is the schema. It has a property, question, and answer. That's all. And just make sure you check the model. You can choose any model you want. I have tested with many. The best one is DeepSeek. You can choose OpenRouter child model where you can play around with all the models. If you want to get the credentials, create new credentials, paste your API key. If you don't have one, just go to Open Routers and create your own API key. Okay, give it a name. You can add the credit limit and then create. It will give you an API key. Then you can just paste there the API key. I already have done it. And then you can choose any, whether it's closed or open source models available. And they give you free options. So I'm just going to choose DeepSeek. Just make sure you choose the chat one. It's a great option. So let me just give this an execution and see how it prompts. And there we go. Go to JSON. You will see the output as a question and answer JSON. Are some of the immediate technology advance in AI expected between 2025 and 2030? Alright, so based on all this. And then we want to do this for the entire question, for the entire text chunk. So what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna take the output and give it to this loop over item. So we loop again over and over. But once this done, it will go to done, and then we'll add a new node. Search for convert, because we will have a final JSON, and we just need to convert it into a file that can be downloaded. Let me just back to canvas. Alright, so the next things we want to do is we want to respond to the form. So just search n8n form, then click on form ending, that's the action, and on n8n form submission, make sure to check return binary file, because we want to return the file. Give it a title, completion matches, input field, yes. Then that's it. So let's execute it and see it in action. Upload the documents, same documents, submit, and there you go, it is executing now. Alright, now this is the 8 items. We should see the files downloading after a while. There you go. If you look into it, you will see this. Let me just check it. So we have question: what are the key technology advanced in the short term of future of AI? And here we have the answer. Then we have another question. Then we have the answer. Alright, and that's it. That's how we create an n8n workflow that takes your document and turn it into question and answer dataset that you can use to fine-tune your LLM. If you want to learn more how you can fine-tune your own LLM, check the link below in the description. I've created a video that breaks down steps and how you can train your own LLM and your own custom dataset. If you guys like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in another video.